You to Joshua Trapper Jones with us this morning, or just Trapper for short.
That works.
Good morning.
Good
so
morning.
You're here to tell us how to take care of some pesky, what do you call them?
This is the
rodents at this
season
time of the
for it
morning?
too. Little cold starts coming in, all of a sudden you're like, what was that I heard in the walls? What was that little pesky thing? Trapper, callthetrapper.com. You call this guy.
Absolutely.
Moles, voles, what's the list?
Moles, voles, bats, skunks.
What's a vole?
Squirrels, raccoons.
It's like a mole.
Okay.
You know, I do a lot of skunks. Not a lot of times people.
He removes a lot of skunks, folks. They don't, you know, that's his job. He goes and gets them. Now, you were telling me a great story last night. Middle of the night, someone called you up. I got a bat in the house.
Yep.
And this guy walks in. What does he do? No nets for this guy. No bat in a net like the Chevy Chase. No. He goes, put a glove on, grabbed it.
Absolutely.
Walked outside, flew away. That's pretty hardcore, man.
Is this something we should be concerned about if we do wake up in, you know, a crazy hour in the morning?
With bats, you don't want, if you wake up and that bat is dead on the floor next to you, then yeah, that's something you definitely need to be concerned about. You need to get that bat checked out. Do not crush the bat because it needs to have the brains checked. I know it sounds weird, but that's what it is.
What are you talking about?
One could have checked for rabies.
Oh.
So if there's a dead bat, if the bat's alive and flying around, it's not that big a deal. But usually a bat will bite someone and it'll die and be laying on the floor.
Oh.
Or next to you or on the bed or something like that. And so you need to get checked out, and so does the bat.
Wow.
You know, they say that's where the vampire myth came from. Because rabies animals bite, and they're like, oh, maybe it's much like a. That's where the story came
bats
from.
aren't looking to bite us normally, but but a rabid bat might. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Right, yeah, they might. And they might land on you, in the middle of the night, which I know that sounds really creepy, but that does happen.
By the way, a good name for a band, the Rabid Bats.
The rabid bat.
Just throwing that out there.
Not bad.
Now, our boss is telling us that this is the season where he, at his house, is having issues with moles, and you're kind of the guy to help take care of something like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely the expert on moles. I've done moles for over 12 years. I've caught over 9,000 moles in my career.
Jeez.
Wow. So if the mole is in the yard, that mole is guaranteed to be mine. I have a reputation around Des Moines and Central Iowa of catching moles extremely fast. So
What are we looking at here?
we're looking at a mole coming out.
There's one.
There's a dead mole in a trap pulling it out of a yard.
Oh, he's a lot smaller than I thought.
That's one of the videos I have on my website.
It looks like, so the Caddyshack thing and the thing, was that a mole or a groundhog?
That was actually a gopher, but
Okay.
people always tease me about the Caddyshack deal, and I always say, well, I always get the mole. I'm not the one always chasing him around.
You don't make
blow up
little
the yard.
clay bunnies
you
with
don't
bombs
use
in or anything
Right.
like that.
Right.
So why do we need to catch moles? Why are they just a nuisance to the yard? I don't have a
Yeah.
yard. I don't know. So
Well, no, moles.
explain it.
What they do is they actually dig through the ground. They actually dig at an angle, so that pushes that dirt up in like a run going through the yard, and it actually kills. You can see the mole digging right here. That mole is going to dig underneath the ground in under 30 seconds. They actually lift the root of the grass up, which dries it out, which will end up killing the grass, and you just have lines going through the yard, mounds of dirt in the yard, stuff like that. So that's a mole I caught last year in the yard by hand, and just video opportunity.
Now, let's say
Filming with one hand, catching in the other, this guy.
let's say we
Absolutely.
call you and you get rid of the moles. Are they just going to come back if you find one? There's more out there. Like
It
what's the
depends.
situation?
The average acre of yard will have 3 to 5 moles in it. The moles are solitary and are territorial, and so once you get the moles out of the yard that are actually in the yard living, that's that yard there. That was one mole did all that damage, and I caught him overnight.
Wow.
So. But once you get them out there, I always explain it this way, that if your neighbor up and moved out, you wouldn't automatically just jump ship and move into their house. You would maybe at a later date, well, I'd like to have that property, expand your property, expand your territory, buy that property.
Right.
And that's how moles operate. They're always expanding their territory.
You must get inside the mind of the mole.
Mind of the mole.
Right.
And are they active this time of year?
Oh yeah, they've been active since the ground started thawing. My first mole I caught within 5 minutes actually this year on March 1st.
Was it a new mole catching record for you?
No, I've caught them right there at the spot. So.
And what are the ones that are active under the snow in the winter?
Those are voles.
Those are voles.
Those are voles.
Okay.
So you wake up with all your grass kind of dug up and.
Yeah, I mean, once the snow melts and you have lines going through the yard, it looks like snake lines, but it's not snakes. It's actually voles. They actually burrow underneath the snow and dig. They'll be on top of the ground, but below the grass. And this time, and even this time of year, people have the problem and don't realize it until the grass goes dormant, and all of a sudden, where did the lines come from?
Right.
And so that's what's going on.
Those I've had. Moles I've never had, so I'm lucky, I guess.
So if someone's needing your services, or they're like, you know what, I'm having this issue, I now know a person to call or contact, what's something like this cost if you have to come out?
If it's moles, I don't charge anything up front. So there's no upfront fee when I come out. You know, my guarantee is if I don't catch a mole, you don't pay me. And it's $75 per mole for the first 4, and then $50 for each mole after that. And there's no setup fees, no upfront money. So that's a mole. I actually seen that mole working in the yard, and I decided to video opportunity
if you're eating your breakfast this morning.
The kids are in school.
I
It's all right.
apologize for enjoying breakfast. this
Website
morning.
is
But
callthetrapper.com.
It's an issue that a lot of people have out there, and they need to know the person they can contact to get the job done.
Absolutely, I can definitely do it.
All right, callthetrapper.com, as Brent was saying just there. If you're having some issues, you're the man to call. What are you thinking about there in your little bubbles?
He's thinking about, what do I do? What do I do? Do I use a spray? Do I use a thing? No, you call thetrapper.com.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Love it. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you this morning, Trapper. We'll be back with more great events that are happening here in Central Iowa. All the details on those, weather, traffic, and more coming up next.